Most budgeting advice starts in the wrong place. It starts with your take home pay and works out what you can afford. But your salary isn't your take home pay, it's your gross pay. And the difference between those two numbers could be costing you without you even realizing it. Today, I want to show you a calculator that works the other way round, and what the number it gives you actually means for your finances. Here's the situation most people are in. They know their monthly budget, they know what goes out. Rent, food, travel, bills, subscriptions, maybe some savings. They add it up and it roughly matches what comes in each month. So they think they're fine. But there's a question they haven't asked. What gross salary does that budget actually require? Because income tax, national insurance, your pension contribution, none of that appears in your budget. It's gone before your pay even hits your account. And when you're talking to an employer about salary, they're talking in gross. So you need to be too. So we built a calculator to answer that question directly. It's called the Budget Salary Calculator, and it's free on OS Payroll. You enter your monthly costs, it works backwards to find the gross salary you'd need to cover them, including a full breakdown of what gets deducted along the way. Let me show you how it works with some real numbers. I'm going to use a fairly typical monthly budget for someone renting in a mid-sized UK city. Rent, £900. Food and groceries, £300. Transport, £150. Utilities and bills, £120. Entertainment, £100. Subscriptions, £50. Savings, £200. Personal care, £80. That's £1,900 a month, £22,800 a year that needs to land in your account. Now I'll add in a 5% pension contribution and a Plan 2 student loan. The calculator tells me I need a gross salary of around £29,000 a year to fund that lifestyle. That works out at just under £15 an hour at 37.5 hours a week. Now here's the question. Is that what you earn? If you're on £32,000 or above, you've got breathing room. Your salary covers your costs with something left over. You're in a healthy position. If you're on £29,000, you're covering your costs, but only just. A rent increase, an unexpected bill, or a change in hours, and you're immediately in the red. And if you're on, say, £25,000, there's a real gap. Around £4,000 a year between what you earn and what your lifestyle actually costs in gross terms. And that gap doesn't just disappear. It shows up as debt, as dipping into savings, or as quietly cutting back on things you didn't plan to cut back on. If you're in that third position, you've got two levers. The first is income. Can you ask for a pay rise? If your required gross is £29,000 and you're on £25,000, you now have a concrete, defensible number to take into a salary conversation. Not, I want more money, but, my costs require a gross salary of £29,000 and I'm currently £4,000 short of that. That's a completely different conversation. The second lever is costs. Go back to the calculator and look at which lines are doing the most damage. In our example, rent at £900 a month is the biggest single driver. If you could bring that down to £700, your required gross drops by around £2,500. Suddenly, the gap is much smaller. The point is, the calculator makes this concrete. It's not vibes, it's numbers. There's one more figure in the calculator I want to flag, the hourly rate. In our example, covering this budget at 37.5 hours a week requires just under £15 an hour. That's useful if you're thinking about going part-time. Drop to 30 hours, and the hourly rate you'd need climbs to around £18.75. Use the slider and you can see that in real time. And if you're freelance or self-employed, this is your baseline. That's the rate you need to be charging before you even start thinking about business costs or profit margin. The budget salary calculator is free at OS Payroll. Link in the description. Enter your costs, set your hours, and find out what your lifestyle actually costs you in gross salary terms. If the number matches what you earn, great. If it doesn't, now you know exactly what you're dealing with and what you need to do about it. I'm Lucy for OS Payroll. See you next time.